Hey, everybody, how you doing? Well, that's good. Welcome to PHLY Flyers Pregame, presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app. Use code PHLY365 when you sign up. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. My name is Bill Matz. I'm your director of fun and games for the afternoon. Joining me today, it's Mr. Flyperbole himself, Steve Jaco. What's going on, Steve?
Bill, I feel rejuvenated. John Tortorella's out. We got some fresh blood in Bradshaw, and it's time to make that playoff push, folks, okay? Can they not make it anymore?
I mean, I guess mathematically they can, but there's no little E next to their name on the NHL standings.
Not yet, so you're saying there's a chance.
But it's today is a huge game in terms of the tank. A must-lose here against the Buffalo Sabres. But before we get into that, and we can do plenty of this post-game as well, but Steve, this is the first time we've talked since the events of Thursday morning, the axing of John Tortorella with 9 games to go at the time. What did you just make of the announcement, the press conference afterwards, just everything that's going on since Thursday?
I mean, I think surprise is the first thing that comes to mind. Like, I got into my day job on Thursday morning, and I immediately saw messages as soon as I sat down at my desk that Torts was out. And I couldn't believe it because I had just done a podcast the previous Friday kind of speculating about his future and talking about he'll probably play out the rest of his contract. There's no reason to really fire him now. And then that Toronto game happened, and it just everything just devolved from there. And it's been wild just seeing Elliot Friedman coming out and saying that Torts stepped down, and then seeing the Flyers saying, well, no, we fired him.
That was on 32 Thoughts after that. Friday morning, they put out their typical episode. He goes, I wasn't sure of the circumstances. I was just getting word, so I played it safe with stepping down. But then after their statement, I just retweeted that because that's clearly what happened. And that was, I thought they get through the year, and then there's a conversation. I was still, in the days before Thursday, I think it's more of a conversation, but I still expect him back next year and definitely in the organization in some respect.
Sure.
And then, we give Torts all the credit in the world for being as media savvy as he is. And then we're kind of, I don't think what he said on Thursday was or on Tuesday was what he meant and this. And then Charlie and I are talking on the show, he did that in the center of the hockey universe in front of this isn't just, you said it to the local beat writers, which is one thing. He said it in Toronto. The place where hockey is.
Yeah.
That is the
center.
Hall
of Fame is literally there.
Yeah, it's the center of the hockey universe. I think he may have loud quitting.
That's quiet for Torts, right?
Quiet
that's as
quitting
quiet
right
as
there.
Gets, yeah.
I at least when you express, I don't know. You're the coach, and not only are you the coach, you're the insane, intense, every freaking day matters guy. Maybe it didn't come out exactly like you meant it, but I think it did a little more than we gave him credit for at the time.
It was real, I think you should leave. I don't want to be around any more energy from him, which is unlike him. He is Mr., urine and vinegar, to be the nicer term there for our Roku viewers there. But it's just it's really stunning to me still. And what a move from Danny Briere and Keith Jones here to fire him when they did, which says that, A, what happened with Cam York must have been really bad, and B, also just that they were tired of the atmosphere that he was building. We've expressed frustration over some of his scratchings at times, Tyson Forrester, Matvei Michkov, these lessons that he's teaching on guys that they don't seem like the right lessons to us. And it seemed like his time with the team for what he was trying to teach them wasn't really going with the direction they were going in. So, kudos to the Flyers for making a big move when they didn't have to.
Yeah, that's I think Danny and Jonesy realized like the direction this was headed. Even if it's just for the last 3 weeks,
Yeah.
like we've heard, John Tortorella says, I don't even do my exit interviews like right after the season. Like we don't do it. Like, I think the season ends on a Friday this year. Like I ain't doing it that Monday. I got to give everyone a few weeks to cool off because that's what playing for John Tortorella is. That's a normal season. That's what he does. Like, maybe that's what he did with Columbus when they beat Tampa in the playoff. And it's still like everyone's a little tired of me. I'm a little tired of everyone. Let's wait a week or two.
Back off a little bit,
This atmosphere, like I think Danny and Jonesy recognized, even if we just let it linger for 3 weeks, it's not even a month. That could have undone all the work they've done over the last 2-3 years to get out of that gutter atmosphere that they had prior to John Tortorella taking over and what he was here to fix in that first year. I think they recognized, like, yeah, all the work we did. We traded Scott Lawton, and he's one of the guys who could maybe keep this together for these final 3 weeks. Like, I think it all kind of combined to be this is the time. And listen, I've been mostly a Tortorella supporter, so I don't want to make this seem like I'm totally reversing. I just think the last few weeks built towards we have to do it. We can't even let it wait till April 17th.
Because it seems like the trade deadline did not sit well with John Tortorella, getting rid of Scott Lawton, giving him Kuzmenko just to take him away. And it's still really funny that they gave him Kuzmenko and Pelletier in the Frost and Farabee trade. And we all thought it was going to be the opposite. He'd love Pelletier and he'd hate Kuzmenko. And it ended up being the opposite of that. Like he was playing Kuzmenko a ton, putting him on a key line, playing him on the power play. And Pelletier was just garbage.
I think you already made the one I think you should leave reference. But I think Tortorella, it's not even a type of player. He just needs you to figure out what you are. Like he doesn't even care. Like we all like he kind of gets the rep. Like he wants third line checkers. Like no, he would love like a top 6 skilled forward who only does that if that's what they actually are. And like that was Kuzmenko. Like created plays, made offense, got to the net, did those things. It's like he doesn't need you to be Nick Delorier or Garnett Hathaway if you do a thing that he can count on. And he just doesn't know what Pelletier is. Like, you had the whole summer. I don't know what you are. Like, that's what I think he thinks of Jacob Pelletier. What are you?
Why didn't he do that with Michkov then?
I
know he's trying to make him the most fully formed hockey player he can. But, like, all of us just want one thing from Matvei Michkov, and that's to score goals and create offense. And, he's teaching him these lessons about back checking. And, like, I don't care at all about Matvei Michkov back checking. I don't.
I will care, though. Like, when the games matter, he's going to need to at least do like the play he made to score his second goal, his actual third goal, his second goal the other night, where he's just like in the vicinity to make a defensive play. And when the guy mishandles the puck, he can take it away. Now it's a 2-on-1. He scores.
That's a fair point. And there are good things he taught him for sure.
And I always think of like Claude Giroux and how he played. And it was, yeah, man, the dude was an offensive mastermind and then realized at some point, every time, like being able to do anything with the puck extended to, I win like 90% of my battles. Like he'd go into a corner and he'd come out with the puck. And it's like, that's not what you really think of Claude Giroux, but that's what he was. And I think that's how he got so good at faceoffs. Like, oh, I'm this good at everything. Why don't I just try in these battle areas too? And I think that's what Torts was trying to do with Mish. Honestly, the Michkov stuff might be the least of my concerns with what Torts did. Like, I think it's a lot of other things Couturier, York, the goalie situation. Like we think maybe part of the issue here, the way he handled the goalies, like it was pretty, you could piece it together. The conversation that Tortorella had when Alexei Kolosov came back up and why. It's like, I'm never playing Fedotov again. He's not playing, so bring me back Kolosov. And they're like, okay. And that's your last call up. And then immediately, he's like, I'm scratching York. And they're like, Risto's hurt and we're out of call-ups. I don't know what to tell you. Like, this is like, you can really easily piece this one together, and then suddenly, he's benched for 50 minutes, and then he sits a whole game for Brad Shaw. He doesn't have a stick half the time.
I've never seen anything like that. I'm still stunned by
Me and Kelly were trying to figure out, like, I've seen like hurt players dress for like a playoff game, and it's, if we can just get a shift out of you, can you give it to us? Something like that. And like the Stamkos one famously, like he played one shift in that Stanley Cup final, scored a goal, and that was that.
What a shift.
Yeah. It was, like,
what a guy.
Imagine batting 1,000 in a Stanley Cup final.
That's just legend stuff.
But like, I don't think I've ever seen what they just did with Cam York. But today they expect York in the lineup, and we have some new D pairs, though. So Jordan Hall, I just got the lineup from. I think Charlie has it, too. But the forward lines remain what they are. Cates with Forster and Brink. Coots with Michkov and TK.
Oh, don't break that up. That's a beaut right now.
It's unbelievable that line at this point in the season is still as good as it is. Paling with Peltier and Tippett. All right, Tip, let's go, baby. And Abels with Lixell and Delorier. On D, like every night, I'm like, and the D remains the same.
It's been the same for like 2 months.
They actually switched it up, at least in warm-ups. It's Sealer, Sanheim, York, Drysdale, Zamula, Andre. So they just swapped the top 4, basically.
I mean, that's different, though. That's definitely like a big difference.
Yeah, and
from what we've been
Charlie
seeing.
has it here. And it will be Sam Ersson in net. Charlie said yesterday, Fedotov was the first goalie off the ice, so maybe he gets to start against Buffalo in what is a must-lose game today.
Yeah, I'm not feeling good about the tank
but
today.
now it's Sam. But listen, Sam hasn't been good either.
But Sam's the better of the two.
Yes.
So I don't like this rejuvenated energy. This is the number one reason I didn't want to fire Tortorella yet, because they looked terrible. That Toronto game is one of the worst games of hockey I've seen. It was so bad.
No, and the Maple Leafs are a really good team. Like, they're a Stanley Cup contender. To give up 7 after giving up 7 to Chicago, though, that is clearly, there's something wrong here.
Oh, yeah.
If nothing else, it's like, well, what's the problem? Because this isn't what we do. Like, we play good defense, we check, we limit opportunities. And you gave up 14 goals in 2 games, and one of them was to Chicago? Brother, even if there weren't other issues, you might have to start talking about firing Tortorella just because of that.
I would have just quit if I was Tortorella after
Honestly,
that Chicago game.
yeah,
That's as bad as it gets. Now, one thing in our favor as far as the tank goes today, Buffalo is on fire right now.
They've been good.
6-4-0 in their last 10. They've won 3 in a row. Let's go Sabres. Come on.
Speaking of scoring 7, they just dropped 7 on the Penguins.
I mean, the Penguins probably have the worst goaltending and defense in the league right now. Like, they are definitely down there. They're a minus, what are they at? They're at minus 57 right now. The Flyers, by the way, are minus 50.
It's just very funny how bad the bottom of the East is. Like, these goal differentials and teams that are still kind of in it.
Yeah.
Very funny stuff.
The Sabres are minus 22.
Not bad.
I think that's a team on the rise. That's a team to watch out for. Maybe they'll make their playoff. I think they should go for it.
Their underlyings are merely bad and not horrendous.
Imagine what a world.
Looking at this Flyers lineup for a second, it's kind of wild they ever broke up Michkov, TK, and Couturier. Like, yes, there were awkward points of, they're both wingers kind of fighting to get to the right side and everything. And maybe in an ideal world, we don't have TK and Michkov together because we have enough talent for like an actual top 6.
Sure.
But on a team like this, why not maximize both guys and see if they can just win games for you? Like, all right, we have one line, and I know the coach just doesn't love, or didn't, the former coach didn't love Sean Couturier. But it's hard to argue he's not your best center just in terms of actually being able to play the center position.
He knows the position better than anybody else out there. He's played it at a higher level than anybody on that team by far. Like, sorry to Ryan Paling, but you didn't win a Selke.
No, but that's Ryan Paling, especially after the Frost trade. He's your second best center, natural center.
Right, because Noah Cates
is a winger.
I would love a center just to put Noah Cates in the wing. He's done a great job this year at center for what he is, but he's not a true center.
He's 40% in the faceoff circle. Like, that's horrible.
It's horrible.
It's a 50-50 puck battle, bro.
We used to be a society, okay? We used to win faceoffs in this town.
Well, like, like the best guys in the league and who are specialists and maybe only take them on like one side are at like 60%.
Yeah.
Coots is great. He's 55.8. You're at 40? It's a 50-50 puck battle, bro. Like 43 or something. Like, come on.
You got to just get your stick in first when they drop the puck.
And I think he's doing a good job, but ultimately I think he's a good checking winger who can be like Coots Cates together with a guy who can score and skate a little. I think is a hell of a third line down the line.
Oh, I would love that for next year if they could make that happen.
Certainly.
But going back to, putting your three best players together on one line.
Couturier had that 5-point game with these guys against Minnesota, that hat trick.
Well, he's one of the only guys who plays the middle also. Yes. Like, he's one of the only guys who can properly screen the goaltender and create some traffic out front, which I love and I miss, and I can't wait for Gerbenkin to get here for that reason. But when I think about those guys playing together, I think about whatever season it was where they first put Couturier, Giroux, and Voracek together, and that was their only line.
Yeah.
But it was a great line together. It was producing offense. It was dominant when it was out there. It was a lot of fun to watch, and I'm really enjoying watching these three guys together.
Well, it's that first year of those guys together. Coots puts up 30 goals and 76 points, finishes second in the Selke, and Giroux has the best scoring year of his career. You made the playoffs because you did that. And I'm not saying we don't even want this team to make the playoffs.
No,
but
I would like them to
looking at
lose.
maximizing your actually proven NHL guys, putting them three together probably should have been the play all year.
It should have been. And I've said this when they put Tippett, Michkov, Couturier together, having somebody that can think the game on the level that Michkov's been thinking it, because Michkov, I haven't seen it as much maybe at this point of the season, but early on when he was on fire when he first came in, he was just dropping passes for guys who weren't expecting it because they don't think the game like he does.
The number of offside or he passed it here and they're expecting it over here. They just hadn't played with a guy like this before. And listen, he's brand new. The chemistry just wasn't there. I think certain players have really adapted. I think Coots has done an awesome job. Just, all right, I got to do the basic. He's going to do Michkov stuff. I'm going to get my ass to the net because he's going to put the puck in a dangerous area. So maybe I'll just figure that out. And they've figured each other out.
And TK is I think he's probably your third best hockey sense guy in regards to, well, I mean, just the guy is successful. He's put up a lot of points this year. In the past few years, he's been the Flyers' best player. So, I mean, clearly he's probably your most talented guy on the team. Well, full talent. I think it's Michkov at this point, but TK's up there. TK's great. Put your three best players together. Let them cook.
All right. So it was pretty funny. I want to talk a minute about Mish here. So going into the Montreal game, Lane Hudson and Macklin Celebrini were even at -110. Co-favorites. Dustin Wolf was 40-1, and Mish was 60-1. Lane Hudson has a couple of secondary assists, but the Flyers win. Michkov has 2 goals and a primary assist. What do you think happened to the odds?
I mean, logically, you would think that Michkov's odds would get a little bit better.
Yeah, no. Michkov went from 60 to 75-1, and Lane Hudson became the odds-on favorite at -260. I've never seen anything like this, but that's what's going on in the Calder race right now.
Does anybody really want Lane Hudson to win the Calder?
I'll tell you.
Are we going to be talking about Lane Hudson in 5 years? I don't know. Maybe.
I will say right now he's number 1 on my ballot.
He's awesome. The points he's putting up
as
on
a
defense
defenseman
is awesome.
I think if a defenseman leads rookies in scoring, he should win.
Yeah,
it's
Celebrini, really incredible. And Montreal's not that good.
Yeah, exactly. And what Celebrini is doing in terms of points per game, it's impressive. But we kind of get the number 1 overall pick does this every year.
Yeah,
it's
because they're the number 1 overall pick. And they should.
It
should be expected.
The really good center puts up really good center numbers playing 20 minutes for a bad team. We see this every year.
Bill, I just don't want to eat crow because the Montreal fans talk so much trash because they hate Michkov for some reason. I can't wait for you guys on the Montreal trip to just talk all the Michkov trash. I'm very excited for that.
And Demidov ain't here yet, so we're allowed.
Yeah, exactly.
But
the thing is, they talk so much trash and they talk so Lane Hudson's going to be awesome. I'm like, shut up. His name's Lane Hudson. How good can he be? And he's been really good, and I hate it.
He has. I think right now I have Hudson 1 and Michkov and Wolf either way 2-3.
Wolf's had such an impressive season too.
And
to be a number 1 goaltender out of the gate. That's really impressive.
He has the real Taylor Hall argument where Like they're a sub 500 team in games he doesn't start. And he's like by far their MVP this year. All right, let's get to the bets. This pregame pick segment is brought to you by Bet365. Use code PHLY365 when you sign up. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 or older and physically located in PA. If you were someone who has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. We're going with it.
Oh, no.
Owen Tippett, anytime goal.
No, it's not happening.
Listen, I realize he's playing with Peltier and Paling. Those two looked pretty good in the last game.
They did.
It was Owen Tippett, who I didn't recognize at all, and Montreal is one of the teams he has had his most success against in the NHL. Buffalo is as well. 6 career goals, or maybe I think 5 career goals in 10 games against Buffalo. It's one of his highest totals. I just got a feeling he's not going to end the season like without a goal in 15 games, right?
I mean, his oppressor, John Tortorella, is gone, so it's got that going for him.
So I think he can get it going today. We are going to have one bet, and it is Owen Tippett anytime goal at plus 225. I was kind of rough on him yesterday. I was like, Cam York, he's getting all the headlines, didn't play in the last game, sat there without a stick. Was Owen Tippett actually in the lineup? And Charlie just shook his head at me. But I don't know if I heard his name on the broadcast one time against Montreal in a game that the offense was great. Like they were flying up and down the ice for most of that game. Second period was a little slow, but first and third, I don't know. And Owen Tippett, third leading scorer, a guy who you think in a back and forth kind of game would have 2-3 points. No, I didn't notice him at all. I think maybe he gets a little something going today.
It's spicy, Bill. Bold take, but we'll see if it pans out. Now, if I'm just picking off the cuff right here. I'm liking Michkov to continue the hot streak today. I'm thinking of Michkov. Let's go for it.
Absolutely, I love it. I mean, he's been hot. He's been really good. This lineup has been good. I mean, I think it's James Reimer in net for the Sabres
too. Let's go with the over.
Yeah, this feels like an over afternoon game. Why not? But this is a must lose.
I did the over in the Toronto game. I hit that real quick.
You hit it in the first 4 minutes or whatever it was.
This is a must lose. I don't feel good about their odds to lose this one, but as we said, the Sabres are hot, so we'll see what happens. I think here's the thing. This should be an entertaining hockey game at the very least.
I think it will be. And the Sabres, listen, we know what they are, but they're also trying to make a push because they've had enough picks. They've been rebuilding for 10 years. They have a lot of young guys on long-term deals that they're just trying to establish themselves as actually worth what they're doing.
I feel like they've been rebuilding since Danny Briere and Chris Drury left.
And right now, Flyers in a dead heat for this 4 spot in the draft lottery. We take a look at the odds and what is at stake today. And in the last game of the season, when these two teams meet head-to-head, that'll be in Buffalo. Right now, the Flyers are at 4 and Buffalo is at 5 in terms of draft lottery odds.
How many games in hand right now for the Sabres?
I believe 2. Philly right now in the 4 spot, 9.5% odds for both the first and second pick.
3 games in hand.
3 games in hand.
Sabres.
So that is gigantic in terms of what they could potentially do, stealing points in overtime, whatever. We need Buffalo to stay hot. We need them to play well. And today will go a long way because you look at this 4-hole, 9.5% chance at 1 or 2 for the Flyers. Buffalo at 5, 8.5, basically 8.5. There's always that weird 0.3 where you could end up in the 3 because of somebody falling in the second drawing. It's odd, but it's a chance. And also the odds of falling are so high that you want to keep yourself in the top 5 as well as you can because right now the Flyers, yes, they're in the 4 spot, only a 15.4% chance of holding that and a 44.6% chance of falling to 5 and a near 21% chance of falling to 6. The odds are against you even when you're this high in terms of moving up or even staying where you are. So 3 or 4, if you want to guarantee yourself a top 5 pick, is where you have to be just based on the odds. A lot at stake today against the Buffalo Sabres.
Lose, baby, lose. Get those lotto balls. It's all about getting as many of those, because also you want the biggest percentage chance you can to move up, because there's some good talent at the top of this draft. It's not the deepest draft, but the guys available in the top 5 are really good. So secure that top 5 pick. Get in there, like get a center or defenseman that can really just help shift the Flyers into the next phase of this rebuild.
And whether it's Schaefer or Misa, like that's what you want in the top 2 right there.
Please.
Yes, Hagens will probably be there at 3. We'll see about Frondell, Martone, all that. But you want your guy. Like the one, okay, this is who we think it is, and moving up is the only way to ensure that. Now, in 2017, of course, they got their guy and didn't work out all that well.
Let's make it clear, by the way, again, people misconstrue this all the time, but that was their guy. That was the consensus number 2 pick, all right? Let's stop with this like, well, we all wanted McCartan. It's BS, all right?
I do remember it was a BSH radio mailbag. There was one question, and it was about Elias Pettersson. Should we look at him instead of Patrick or Hischier, whoever doesn't go 1? I was staunchly a Hischier guy, but of course we didn't get that opportunity. Devils take him at 1. But yeah, the Makar and Heiskanen talk, I never heard anybody ever say it. So listen, GM gets paid to be right. It ain't about taking consensus.
Oh, for sure. And that's on Ron Hextall for not doing his homework.
Anyone can just be me at the fantasy draft, have 8 beers and just cross names off a list and be like, he's next, I want him. Like anyone can do that. Like be right, even if it's bold. Like
yeah.
Jet Luchenko, not popular, but if he's right, great pick, Danny. We'll see.
Yeah.
But it's huge today, just in terms of your chances to move up, your chances to remain in the top 5. I think they can do it. Maybe that one, the Montreal game, it's there. All right, the bad man is gone. We had our fun, and now it's right back to let's get the hell out of here. We want to hit the cottage.
I'm nervous about their chances of losing this one.
It's Buffalo.
It's Buffalo. Buffalo, again, the only thing that's really bringing me comfort as far as Buffalo winning this game is Buffalo's hot right now. So let's go Buffalo. Go back and enjoy your ambiance and decor of Dave & Buster's and whatever restaurants you have up there. And, enjoy the day. All right? Enjoy the day, fellas, because you don't have much else. I mean, it's going to snow again in like 2 days there, I'm
Probably.
Sure. Yeah.
And listen, they've won 3 in a row, and their wins are quality. The Jets, the Sens, the Penguins are in there, but they killed the Penguins. And they've won 6 of the last 9. They're 6-3-0. So they've been playing well. They are a team on the rise, I suppose. Buffalo fans are like, this is typical. We're horrible all year, and now when it's draft lottery time, we're gonna win a bunch of meaningless games. Like I think that's funny for them. But hopefully the Flyers can take advantage and lose today.
Lose, baby, lose. Let's do it.
Let's see. I believe it's James Reimer in not Draft Kings. It's Daily Faceoff. I just typed D, and that's what happened.
It's all
this is, of course, the Bet365 Flyers pregame. It's UPL today. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen starting opposite Sam Ersson, according to Daily Faceoff. He hasn't been great. 886 save percentage, 318 goals against, so almost the exact same numbers as Sam Ersson.
That's the over there, folks.
This is an overplay today. Unless they have it at like 8.5, I would absolutely say go to Bet365 and maybe hit that over button.
Hit that over hard.
I think we have a couple of super chats, so let's get to those real quick. From the Blue Raja. Oh, okay, there it is. It was just $2 to compliment Bill and talk bleep on how bad the Flyers are. All right, well, thank you. Appreciate it, Blue Raj. That's dope. Always love the super chats. And from our pal, Vince Pellegrini. Yeah, I cut my hair.
That was the first thing I said when I saw him in the elevator.
Bryn was shocked when I walked in. She was like looking at me like something was wrong. It's getting hot, man, and I didn't know if I could do another summer. We have to get my cartoon head, I guess, changed now, but that's one of the reasons I kept it long for like the last year. It's like, well, now I can't get it cut because I love the cartoon head so much.
I know the struggle, Bill, having like thick, curly, dark hair on the top of your head. It gets very hot.
Hair appointment this morning, and then pregame was my day. And now it's time to watch some Flyers hockey. That is all the time we have for you on PHLY Flyers Pregame, presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app. Use code PHLY365 when you sign up. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Make sure you're following us right here on YouTube. We are going to be live right after this goes final for postgame, so make sure you're subscribed. Hit that reminder bell, never miss a live show. Follow us on Twitter at PHLY_Flyers. That's where I do all my in-game tweeting. And make sure you follow the podcast as well. Wherever you get those, just search PHLY Flyers. All right. I am Bill Matz. Oh, we have another one from Vince. Thank you, Vince. I appreciate it. I am Bill Matz. That is Steve Jaco. Until postgame, let's go Tank.
We all silly like the mayor.